Welcome to Words with Wetmore. Thanks for coming back for round 2. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe down below so you always know whose words I'm talking about. Our words for conversation today are about a new author, Eleanor Shearer, and her novel, River Sing Me Home, is a work of historical fiction. And if you're not familiar with that genre, it usually takes place during a historically accurate time, but the characters are fake. Now, that's not to say that the events that happen are not a reflection of real events, but because the character is fake, it is considered fiction. There are a lot of authors that write historical fiction. Check out my blog to learn about some of my favorite historical fiction novels. But what can be said about any of these authors is that they have to do a ton of research when writing to ensure that their fictional characters and stories remain rooted in facts. Well, Eleanor actually has a degree that focuses around the historical time period her novel takes place during, the Caribbean islands post-slavery. She is a granddaughter of the Windrush generation immigrants who were a group of individuals that immigrated from the Caribbean islands to Europe. So if anyone was to write a historical novel about this time period, it is her. So what's this novel about? It's about Rachel. And Rachel is recently claimed to be a freed slave because of the Emancipation Act of 1834. But there's now a loophole for plantation owners. She might be a freed slave, but she's now considered to be an apprentice and must actually remain at the plantation. Devastated by the news, Rachel runs away and finds solace with a woman named Mama B. And Mama B can sense there is something that bothers Rachel. Well, Rachel has 5 children that live out in the world, and she wants to find them. Rachel's story is about finding her 5 children while fighting a world that deems her to be quote-unquote free. Before I go into other details, I do want to say I can tell that Eleanor's writing is definitely rooted in research because it reads like a memoir. But with that said, here's my honest review of the novel. It's a fine read. Is it my favorite novel? No. The Wetmore 6 gave it a 3 bark review, and the reason for that is the pace of the novel. It's a slower read. It is well written. The plot definitely has a clear beginning, middle, and end. Rachel, I believe, does find happiness at the end, which leaves the readers feeling satisfied, but it is slow. Eleanor's writing style reads more as academic writing than fiction, and I think that is because she is so well versed in the research. That does harbor her ability to keep me engaged as a long-term reader. Here's what I kind of wish Eleanor would have done. I wish she would have shown me what was going on in Mary Grace's mind. Who's Mary Grace? Well, Mary Grace is Rachel's daughter, and she's the first child she reestablishes a relationship with. However, she's mute. So we see her grow through her actions and interactions with other characters. I found Mary Grace to be a more dynamic and evolving character than Rachel herself, and I want to read through her perspective and know more of her internal thoughts. Now, million-dollar question. Does Rachel find all of her children? Yes and no, but she doesn't get the responses she was hoping to gather. I did appreciate this honest style of writing from Eleanor. Did I regret reading this novel? Absolutely not. I think I'm more informed about these events because of her novel. I think if you are a fan of historical fiction or even prefer nonfiction, you would enjoy this text. However, if you're similar to myself and prefer fast-paced fiction, then I would suggest having this be your next audiobook. No matter what you decide to do, if you start it, you have to finish it. The ending is definitely the best part of Rachel's story, so I definitely won't spoil that. Be sure to check the links below to get your own copy of River Sing Me Home, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow my blog. Thanks for tuning in.